year. The key question with Larry Bird, they were in a hard cap in the NBA. And when you look at this and bringing it back home, Adam Silver, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, Breanna Stewart, who are the superstars of the WNBA, but especially for Caitlin because she has such brand marketing deals, probably averaging $30 to $50 million a year. The Bird rights gives a team an opportunity to re-sign its best player and not be restricted by the cap.
Larry Bird doesn't say anything until he truly wants to. The Hall of Fame. The three-time NBA champion, the individual who used foul language and art form, and whose cold gaze used to quiet arenas. In a time of non-stop criticism, Bird has all but vanished. A living legend who hardly ever speaks in public, let alone reveals his face. However, everything changed in an astounding moment. Due to the fact that 2 minutes ago, Larry Bird approached Caitlin Clark on live television and immediately took the microphone, her hand, and said a statement that rocked the sports world. And Caitlin Clark's response. Before we continue, a small favor. Please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel if you enjoy the content. It may surprise you to learn that almost 83% of viewers have not yet subscribed. It only takes a second and is free. However, it is really important to us. Have you already subscribed? Excellent, many thanks for your help. Now, return to the video.
And put an understanding out, because with Caitlin and what the players and the collective bargaining agreement are negotiating, folks, I'm wondering if it's the best fit for the top players of the WNBA. CBA agreements, the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They're going to have an intense meeting for All-Star Weekend. And I wanted to bring this up for Caitlin Clark and the Larry Bird rights rule. Okay? And we'll start from a revenue perspective as Caitlin leads the league in revenue. Where am I going with this? It wouldn't make sense to have a contract for Caitlin Clark.
To believe it, you have to see it. Let's go back in time. It was meant to be a standard interview. Clark had recently taken the lead in the Indiana. With 28 points, 10 assists, and a dagger three-pointer that sent the home crowd into a frenzy, Fever pulled off a gutsy comeback victory. After the game, the interviewer complimented her leadership and inquired about her rapport with teammates. And everything appeared to be typical. Till all of a sudden, the crowd's clamor was louder than it had been throughout the evening. Larry came out of the tunnel. Bird, the man whose name is woven into the fabric of basketball history, the legend, the icon of Indiana, focusing on Caitlin Clark while making a direct approach to the broadcast table. She didn't notice at first. As always, she was cordial, grinning, and responding to inquiries. However, the interviewer cut off mid-sentence. The cameras made a wide cut. The audience was standing. Caitlin turned to see him. She froze. No, not scared. Amazed, the man who never makes public appearances, Larry Bird was approaching her directly. The atmosphere shifted. Everybody sensed it. The events that followed were not planned or practiced. Tea was uncooked. Tea was genuine. Larry approached. Softly removed the microphone from Clark's grasp, gazed into the camera, etc. We'll discuss about what he said next. Roughly for years, he said, I've been watching for a long time, in a deep, composed voice. Additionally, I've never seen anything like this. She's the real thing. I haven't seen a tougher player since the 1980s. I won't stand by and do nothing while others try. Gonna destroy her. Gasping, the audience was hushed for a moment before erupting. Bird wasn't merely praising her strategy, he was making a declaration, warning, a defense, was into the flames, not for personal gain. However, Caitlin Clark, the rookie who continued to come up game after game despite being jeered, hacked, questioned, and written off. Never giving up. Clark's response? She hid her face. She shook her head. Her mouth trembled. Next, Caitlin Clark shed tears on live television for the first time. It wasn't because she was weak or overburdened, but because she had just been passed the torch by someone who defined Indiana basketball and understands the weight of excellence. Bird wasn't finished, he said. She doesn't need protection. She certainly deserves respect, though if you are unable to provide her with it, you're not watching the game, then you're observing your own fears. Boom. No corporate fluff. Vintage Larry Bird cutting, no sanitized language. Unscripted and unambiguous. He returned the microphone to Clark. She dabbed at her eyes. Incredulous, the interviewer just moved aside. Without a script, at that very moment. Without a marketing pitch or a brand, the old and the new collided in a way that seemed larger than basketball. Because this is the reality. Caitlin Clark has faced more pressure than any other WNBA rookie. History. Every action she took on the court was scrutinized, every statement she made was repeated, every foul she committed was disregarded, and every foul she committed made headlines. She was dragged through. She came to represent the league's future. The chaos of its history. She never cracked, though. Larry Bird noticed that. And he respected it, in contrast to many in the media. Bird understands what it's like to be despised for being exceptional, to use jumpers to quiet crowds and enter unfriendly arenas. To have all of your words misconstrued and your self-assurance misinterpreted as conceit. He saw more than just a star in Caitlin. A basketball player who plays to win, speaks her opinion, and refuses to play the game struck him as a kindred spirit. The proper manner merely to appease others. Bird's public endorsement was more than sentimental. It was calculated. Because this was more than a sign of appreciation. It was a move of power in a time when a lot of athletes are controlled, screened, and cleaned, but Clark has distinguished himself by being authentic. And because of that authenticity, a target. She's been accused of being overly arrogant, dubbed overrated, and told she's stealing the show. Depending on who is speaking, it could be too loud, too privileged, or too white. However, Bird, none of that matters to him. Hoopers are important to him. Caitlin Clark is a hooper, too. It was evident what Bird was trying to say. She is one of us, and she belongs. You don't understand it if you don't see it. Social media went crazy after the segment. Larry and Caitlin were trending within minutes. NBA players from the past spoke up. Legends expressed their support via tweets. Bird doesn't speak for influence. One post was read. She is the truth if that is what he said. Another, the WNBA is maturing at this point. Even those who had previously expressed disapproval. Clark hesitated. Because you stop talking and pay attention when Larry Legend talks. The league reacted nearly instantly. The WNBA shared a complete footage of the event on all platforms in a matter of hours. No edits or trims. By morning, it received more than 20 million views. Sponsors got in touch. The Fever's next 5 home games were all sold out. Nike revealed a limited edition Legend X-Rookie crossover promotion. A limited edition jersey bearing Bird's signature and Clark's number. Sold out in 4 minutes after it was released online. More significantly, though, the tone shifted. Pundits ceased their sniping. Nitpicking by analysts ceased. Because Bird had made it uncool, even Clark's toughest detractors relented. To despise her, it was unnecessary for Caitlin Clark to clap back. Larry Bird did it for her, and the weight was in his words. Decades. Because this was a moment of truth, a proclamation, and a change in direction rather than merely a soundbite. Bird responded, "Let the kid play," echoing the thoughts of millions of people. Allow her to mature and cease projecting a sense of grandeur. Is illegal. During the remainder of the game, Clark appeared lighter and more liberated, and her smile came back. She joyfully played. With ferocity and lost 14 points in just the fourth quarter. Reporters questioned her in the locker room about her thoughts. Regarding Bird's shock, her response? With a trembling voice, she said, "I didn't expect it. However, if Larry Bird believes that I belong, I'll stop doubting myself after that." That line? It's worthy of a tattoo. Not only is Caitlin Clark shattering records, but she is also shattering barriers. She is requesting justice, not preferential treatment. And at last, someone with the seriousness to give her the respect she deserves by making the world stop and pay attention. That moment wasn't scripted by Bird. However, it will be remembered as one of the most effective generational handoffs in sports history. Because Larry Bird wasn't only standing up for a young athlete. It was Larry Bird standing up for the game's future. What about Caitlin Clark? She's using both hands to carry it forward. If you think legends exist, acknowledging legends, please hit the like button and remember to subscribe if you value the unadulterated power of truth. Get a dime. In the next one, we'll see you.